All right, you guys both recommended that we watch this and recommended that we don't watch it after you watched our shadow reaction. I'm intrigued. Let's see how it goes. My name's Chase. Now you know.
Nice. Thank you. That was super
That was a jarring scene. I was afraid it was going to hit him from the side. Look, he just hit it. Still, not a good accident ever on a scooter, but better than it could have been.
기억조차 나는 기억도 다 꺼내보자고 하나씩 다 꺼내보자고 하나씩 최선들의 선택 최선들의 선택 최선들의 선택 최선들의 선택 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 원치 않잖아 내 통제밖에 자신만 하자
Okay, so there are several things that this could be like alluding towards. I mean, there's obvious elements of like self-harm and suicide going on here. There's severe depression, maybe some PTSD. I'm wondering if it's maybe the driver of the car whose perspective and mind were kind of inside when we're in that room. I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out. But this is just kind of where my thoughts are going. Is maybe we're in the mindset of the person who was driving the car and is now feeling responsible, and the depression and the shock and the change of your entire mental being that happens when you are now responsible for the ending of someone else's life. I didn't see it the first couple times I saw the crash with the scooter, but you can see the blood coming down that driver's side window, and that would be particularly jarring if you were inside it, because I'm not sure it makes a whole lot of sense to be the person driving the scooter, though if you get in a bad accident and have actual damage to your brain, that can cause a lot of these type of symptoms. Maybe if this is a relative of the person who is driving the scooter, I'm not sure. I'm trying to resolve where it could be, and there's a lot of potentialities, but there's obviously some maybe not grief, but at least PTSD and depression going on.
My AMYGDALA, my AMYGDALA, 어서 나를 구해줘, 어서 나를 구해줘. My AMYGDALA, my AMYGDALA, 어서 나를 꺼내줘, 어서 나를 꺼내줘. My AMYGDALA, my AMYGDALA, my AMYGDALA, my AMYGDALA. 이곳에서 구해줘, 어서 빨리 꺼내줘. 그래 참 별의별 일이 많았지. 길가에 너무 심장치가 소리 전하지 못했던 내 사고 소식과 스케줄 중에 걸려 언제나 아버지의 간암 소식 최선의 선택들이 맞아섰길 그 또한 모두 지나가 버렸길 그래서 이 수많은 고통은 날 위한 것일까 끊임없는 시련은 날 죽이지 못하고 다시금 나는 연꽃을 피워내 최선들의 선택
Okay, now I'm coming more to an understanding that it was none of the things that I had thought. This is from the mindset of the person who had the accident in the scooter, and I feel like the accident was caused by all of the stress, the things going on around, the pills that were being taken, and just the unbelievable amounts of stress going on at that point in August's life here. I've never been someone who has reacted so negatively to circumstances, to have gone through something as severe as this emotionally. I have a lot of people close to me who do and who have, and I know you have too, Remington. And it's hard for me from the outside looking in to know what to do or say in any of these circumstances, and especially because they're so singular to each individual. And if you're listening to this, I hope, and you're going through something hard in your life, I hope you understand that sometimes people in trying to help cannot help, and sometimes in trying to help, some people will. And sometimes people who aren't trying to help actually can end up helping. You never know what it's going to be that can help put you on the right track. But what I can say is that the dark times pass unless you don't let them. I'll put it that way. But they will pass, as hard as they are. It's hard to say much more than that. Music, DK, we talk about this all the time. DK talked about in an interview we did with him. Our last real podcast interview we did was with a person called DK, a friend of ours. And he talked about how music is like therapy for the masses, is what he sees it as. And this is one of those songs. Something that you can connect to someone, feel that connection where you feel like otherwise you couldn't. And this song, I think, is really trying to do that, trying to connect to people like, hey, your amygdala might be firing off and making everything feel way worse than it is. Maybe things are really hard, and your amygdala is firing off because of that and making it feel even worse. But we're trying to get through it, as hard as it is and as ugly as the path through it may be. We can get through it.
My amygdala, my amygdala, 어서 나를 구해줘, 어서 나를 구해줘. My amygdala, my amygdala, 어서 나를 꺼내줘, 어서 나를 꺼내줘. My amygdala, my amygdala, my amygdala, my amygdala. 이것을 수부해줘, 어서 빨리 꺼내줘.
I think I want to just sit down and think about this before I comment.
Okay.
One of the things that never ceases to amaze me is the ability of the artists who have participated in BTS, whether they're doing their solo stuff or whether they're doing a group track, their ability to create scenery and music and dancing that all comes together so perfectly.
Yeah.
And is so expressive of human emotion and understanding.
Everything down to the choice of gray clothes, gray couch, and gray floor with a white door in what is not a black and white scene.
Right. there are a lot of times where people have times in their life where they feel like everything is hitting them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And whether those are right now or whether they were a long time ago, you can still sometimes feel it right now.
Yeah.
And the thing is, everybody's going to have some difficulties. You know, like everybody's going to have some difficulties in life. And we say, like, that's life. That's what we say, that's life. The French, c'est la vie, that's life. But some people are going to be hit with some big, heavy things. Some people are going to be hit with a bunch of big, heavy things all at the same time. And it has tremendous effects on people. And sometimes we get past it and we're done. And sometimes it leaves wounds that get closed around but not closed themselves. And then when things happen, you get triggered, you get prompted, and those wounds get felt again. And this is very common. And the imagery here in the gray room, it's all black all around except for the spot where he's at. And the lethargy that he's portraying is so perfect. And then the lyrics that go right along with it. Like, I got to unpack these memories one at a time, but
I got to erase them.
I got to erase it.
Them. Please save me.
And what are my options? What's my best option, my second best option, my third best option? None of which are all great options, right? And it's really easy to feel when you have gone through something really difficult and you still carry those wounds with you, or if you're going through something difficult and it's affecting you in such a way that you know what this is and you relate to this, it's very easy to feel like the best three solutions are the permanent solution. And it's easy to feel that way. It's easy to understand that and to go there. And so when you have him portraying this lethargy, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, but it's lethargy, and then it's juxtaposed with the screaming during the and flashing during the my amygdala scenes.
And it's like that. And even when he's laying there, there's an inner torment.
Yeah.
That comes out, and they switch back and forth between this, like, I can't do this, to like, I'm going crazy. Let me out. And the most beautiful scene in this whole thing for me, the most poignant, was when he's crawling toward the door and the camera is shifted 90 degrees up.
So it feels like he's crawling up.
And it's like he's crawling up. And the feelings there is that it doesn't matter how hard I crawl, I cannot reach that door. It's not even on the same floor as me anymore. And it's absolutely beautiful, and I know that people feel that, and I know that people have experienced that. And it's so poignant because it can very much feel that way. Like you mentioned, you know, your brain does things. It does things to protect us, but ultimately those things that it does to protect us can often cause us more harm than the good that it's trying to do. And there are some problems that we can't just resolve on our own by just thinking about or trying to get out. There are some doors that need someone else to open them for us or to help us figure out how to open them. And
what I thought was some of the most poignant imagery myself was actually the change from the first scene we saw of the guy getting on his scooter who's obviously stressed out, and I now come to understand he's stressed out because he's leaving that person behind them in a not good state. And he goes to leave, and because he's stressed out, he's not paying attention, he gets in an accident, he ends up severely injured as well. And then it switches and you have an alternate timeline where instead of putting his helmet on, getting on the scooter and driving away in that stressed out state, he takes the helmet off and runs back upstairs to go and help. But it's obviously it's too late, and he's trying to open the door, but the door is now locked. The moment has passed. Now there's two things that I take from that, and one is that there is a point when it's too late. If you're going to try and help someone, you need to try to help them when the opportunity is there, because who knows how long that door will be there. The second thing that strikes me as poignant is, even though the end result of the second timeline where he went back to help was not good, it was a lot better than the first. There is only one person who's left on the ground in the second timeline. And that strikes me because we've talked a lot about trying to help someone who's going through hard times, maybe having thoughts of self-harm, right? You just have to reach out and try to connect with them on whatever level you're connected with them, as a friend, as a family member. Just try to have a good memory. Just make a good memory with them if you can. Just, hey, do you want a pizza? Hey, let's get together.
Yeah.
But you have to take that door while it's open.
One of the most important things that somebody told me at one point, a friend of mine, one of his friends took his own life. And this friend, he does martial arts with me, so we train combat stuff together. And he said, look, you guys know, and he just came to me personally. He's like, look, you know that if you ever were in something and you needed me to fight with you, like fight somebody with you, you know that I would help you. You know that I would have your back. And he said, it's just as important. He said, I need to tell you, I need you to know that if ever you're in something, it doesn't have to be somebody we have to fight. If you have demons that you need to fight, I will fight them with you. And that matters. He said, if you need me, if you're fighting demons, don't do it alone. It's like, you let me know. I fought demons before too, and I will come and be with you. And it's things like that that make the difference. A lot of times people are like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like, they're acting crazy, they're acting different, they're acting like unusual, and it seems like whatever I do doesn't help. The most important thing that you can do, in my opinion, is to be there and to let them know that you are there and that they matter to you. Those three things, they're simple and they save lives. Suicide is something that has touched both Chase and myself a great deal. And it's something that touches a lot of people. It's something that affects the entire world to some degree. And if someone you love takes their own life, it can be hard on you too. And you can feel guilty, and you can feel like there was something maybe you could have done. But it's not. It's not your fault. The things that happen, they're not your fault. Sometimes a lot of things happen at once, and it's too much. And we need extra help. And there are professionals that help with that stuff, because like I said, some of those doors just don't open by themselves. They're just like that. That you can't even reach them, or they feel locked, right? One other thing that can be really helpful, because sometimes when somebody's really stimulated in that way, whether they're on that lethargy side or whether they're on that more extreme, irritable, like fighting side, yeah, being stable and present. Being stable. being like, okay, I'm not gonna let this like pull me down, and I'm not gonna like let this get me all uptight or irritated or whatever either. I'm gonna be stable. So they can feel some kind of stability, because sometimes it just feels like the ground is shaking and the world is closing in and there's nowhere to go. And sometimes you just want to see a beacon, just a lighthouse, just some kind of thing that's stable, and you know it's not going anywhere, and you know it's just there. This is a beautiful song. This might be one of my favorite solo tracks by these guys, by one of the people who've done this.
Hats off to you again, Agust D. And I'm not sure if it's Suga or Shuga. Please let me know in the comments. I have looked it up and I still don't remember, and I'm still not confident in how I'm supposed to pronounce that. So I'm going to go with Agust D.
Yeah. Beautiful song. Amazingly portrayed. And definitely something that should be talked about openly. So, hats off. That's all.